Welcome in, Mountaineer Nation. I'm Sam the Man, and this is the Mountaineer Effect. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the page. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the subscribe so that you know when I'm posting something new. Helps with the algorithms here on YouTube. We're really close to that 500 subscriber mark, so help me get there. I think we're at 470. I appreciate all my new subscribers. The looming game tomorrow between West Virginia and Texas Tech. I've really had trouble gathering my thoughts on this game this week, but it kind of hit me today, and so I'm kind of late putting this up, but I think this is probably what we're going to see in the game, so let's do it. West Virginia's really struggled with Texas Tech the last few years. Last year's game was really hard to watch as we went against Texas Tech's number 2 quarterback, and he just ran all over us. But this West Virginia team and that Texas Tech team is just a little bit different. I've been looking at other people's predictions and their scores and just kind of taking it all in. And I got to thinking, if I was on that West Virginia team, especially on the defense, what would I think? First of all, it's a team game, but if I'm on that defense, I'm probably pretty agitated that my offense can't put up more than 20 points a game. So what I think you're going to see is a reinvigorated defense who's coming out to strip the ball, to try to pull down some interceptions and try to put some points on the board themselves. I think you may see that this week. I think you may see probably a pick six or a strip sack rumbled in. You may very well see that this week. I think the offense is going to continue to struggle. I don't think they've got it in them to score 30 points, honestly. They couldn't do it against Virginia Tech. Long Island doesn't count. They lost a very winnable game last week because they couldn't put points on the board. But I'm really thinking defense is going to hold out this week. I think that we're going to see Letty Brown probably come through in a big way. I'm hoping that we see Garrett Green a little more this week. We should have saw him more in the second half of the Oklahoma game. I hate to keep going back to the Oklahoma game, but that's a tender wound that's going to take some time to heal. But I think the key to the game is defense. I think our defense is going to have to score some points. I've got my prediction for the final is probably around 27-17 West Virginia. I don't think they'll break 30 against Texas Tech either. I think the offense can probably give us 20, and then the defense will probably give us a touchdown, or maybe special teams. Can't discount them either. We do have a really good special teams. But, all in all, I try to find the silver lining in these games, especially the Oklahoma game. And, the more I think about it, the madder I get. I think, at some point, Neil has to realize that we're settling for mediocrity. When you can't, finish off these drives and get some points. And that's something that you've got to be careful of, because your team will fall into a pattern of, well, that's okay, we'll get them on the next one. And, that can be really dangerous for an FBS team to get in that mindset. And we could see that happening here a little bit. So at some point, you're going to have to see a shakeup on the offensive side. And that shakeup will be Garrett Green. Me personally, I'd like to see him started this week. Neil Brown's put so much on the defense that, it's really, it's unfair to put that much on your defense. But two, to be such an offensive-minded coach, it scares me a little bit thinking that we can't just put it together drives that score points like that. I just can't wrap my brain around that. But 27-17, I think that'll be your score. I think Letty Brown's going to have a good day. I think your defense is going to have a phenomenal day, probably the best performance of the season so far. They don't want to lose at home. We've dropped the last 2 years to Texas Tech. Neil in his tenure hasn't beat Texas Tech. I think he needs to get over that hump. And I think they can do it with a solid performance from the defense. All in all, this game is at home. West Virginia is really stifling at home. They're really hard to beat at home. You've got Stripe at the stadium going on. You've got Daryl Talley in town for the retirement of his number. So, there's a lot of good reasons why, West Virginia will come to play, be ready to win. I think at the end of the day, we'll probably be singing Country Roads. Texas Tech is a good team. And we've got to find a way to generate offense. It just comes out. It's that simple. And, it gets a little bit redundant for us guys making content about this football team. But, the keys to the game are, good throws and catching the ball. But at the end of the day, I think Letty Brown's got to dig deep and run and just run and run hard and take the team on his back, because that's what it's going to take. I think Jared Davies proved time and time again that he's not that kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy that can take a team on his back and push them to victory. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. So somebody else on the offense is going to have to step up and do it, and I think that will be Letty Brown. We'll just have to see how it goes. But I'm Sam the Man. This is the Mountaineer Effect. Let's go, Mountaineers!